when people usually think of me, they think of civil service naturally, and they expect that I'm gonna come up here and inspire everyone for the civil service. But I'm not gonna do that today because you guys are so young, so talented. You're doing degrees which did not used to exist. I'm not that old, but still they did not exist, right? So today we're gonna be talking about how you can lead with purpose, right? And why this is important for everyone is because no matter which field you are in, you always want to become a leader. Because at a certain point, we're going to talk about growth and fulfillment and about how that stops. So as you grow up, you just want to keep growing, you want to get better, and that only happens when you lead with purpose, right? So who is a leader? This is such a broad question, right? For different people, there are different leaders. For some people, it was Hitler, right? He was such a big leader. And then for some people, it's even a YouTuber these days. So if I could narrow it down, a leader is someone who can influence behaviors and decisions of others, right? So that's how we narrow it down. And then we choose our own leaders. Now, why is becoming a leader important? That's the first question. It's very simple. It's because of A, growth, and B, self-fulfillment, right? So when you want to grow in life, you get to a certain position as you grow up. You want to be, doing more of the leading and less of the following. Now, granted, we do follow people, we do follow celebrities, right? That's okay. But you want to get to a point where you are passionate about something. Maybe that's your job, maybe that's your organization, and then you just want to, inspire people and do it for a greater cause, right? And then the second thing is self-fulfillment, obviously. No one does anything just because they want to make money. A lot of us are inspired because we want to make change in the society, right? So that's why we want to become leaders. So if we could move to the next slide now. Aligning actions and decisions with core values. Unfortunately, my slides or presentations always betray me and these videos don't work. And now you have to get a little bored with me, but it's okay. So the first thing is that, when you align your actions and decisions with core values, that's the first thing for a leader. They have to have clarity, right? And let me elaborate. So Nelson Mandela, a very famous, right activist, he knew what he wanted, right? He wanted equality, but he wanted it in a way that did not take away anyone else's equality. And he wanted to do it in a very non-violent way, right? So there we go, we have a lot of clarity about how we're going to do this, right? And then, if I could give you my own example, my father was in the police service, right? And then he got murdered. And that's a huge story, but what I got to learn from that is that basically he served the nation with the expectation that he's going to deliver every day to the people, right? To the service. And that is what inspired me to do it as well, that I wanted to align, my actions with core values. The only reason I want to join this service and do it is because every day I get a chance to help people who have lost their faith in the country, right? That's the only reason I want to join the service. And the day that I can't do that is the day that I should stop being a civil servant, right? So the first thing that if all of you want to become leaders, some of you are already leaders, right? In your own capacities, is to align your actions and decisions with your core values, right? Moving forward to the next slide. Understanding your passion, right? Very important. It's easier said than done than saying I want to become a doctor. Okay, people tell me that I want to be a civil servant, and I ask them why, and they're like, I want to serve my country. And then I ask them, can you not do it in any other way? Right? You can open up an NGO, you can do something else that will also be serving your country. Why the civil service? And then they don't have an answer. It's because they're not clear about what their passion is. Right? If you're driven for something, and it could be because of money, there's nothing wrong with that. It could be because of power, but you should be clear about it, right? And this is why you need to understand that what you are passionate about. this is where self-fulfillment comes in. So we see people like in the first row, right? They're trying to make a change in their own respective fields. And the reason why they're ready to go to so many lengths is because they don't feel it as a burden. In fact, it gives them self-fulfillment, right? That should be the aim for everyone. And I opened up my own NGO as well during the COVID-19 pandemic in Quetta. It was called Asan Khidmat, and it's honestly not a very big NGO, but it did serve its purpose, right? So I understood my passion that I wanted to help the people in a way that would give me, more confidence and would make me happy, right? So now that we've understood that what we need to do with our actions and decisions, and we have understood our passion, the next step in the next slide is, of course, overcoming challenges, right? No one got to a certain point without overcoming their challenges. You see people all around the world, whether it's Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or even any politician, I don't want to name any. But the thing is that they had to face several years of challenges, right? Becoming a leader in your own respective field, it takes years of hard work. It's not like you suddenly wake up and you're like, today I'm just going to be a leader, right? Today I'm going to be a civil servant, a doctor, or an activist. It takes time. What's your strategy to overcome these challenges? And that is up to you. When I was, wanting to join the civil service, I was met with a lot of skepticism. Naturally, people are like, oh, so you want to do it for the money, or you want the power, right? People are going to question you. There are going to be people who question, your motives, and it's your job to overcome these challenges. And I think the best way to do this is actually have a realization, self-reflection about what your motives are and what you really want to do. So if you want to be, for example, there are many people in this institute who are maybe aiming to become aeronautical engineers or something like that. How do you think that you're going to overcome the challenges you face? Maybe you have a challenge going abroad. Or how do you think that you can turn your passion into a leadership project, right? And in the next slide, once that you realize that you've overcome your challenges, the most difficult step is aligning passion with purpose, right? So I know people here, again, all of these speakers, right, they've aligned their passion with a purpose. It's great to be an activist. I go to rallies and I support Palestine, everything very good, but how am I using that for a purposeful, meaningful way? So this is where I think you need to sit down and realize that not every passion can have a meaningful purpose. Not every sports person is supposed to become a coach, right? Some of them are just good players and then they become commentators. That happens, and it's okay, it's totally fine. And if I could give you some good examples, Elon Musk, whatever you think of him, I'm sure all of you rate him highly. His SpaceX project is something that has combined his passion with a purpose. So he wants to advance, human technology beyond the Earth, and obviously he is passionate about technology, so he's clubbed both of them together. And a very relatively easier example is Doctors Without Borders, right? And they're doing humanitarian work all across the world. They're just doctors who do it because they like to and because they want to help people out. They're getting nothing out, right? So it's up to you how you align that passion with a meaningful purpose. Great. Moving forward, now that we've realized that you have aligned your decisions and with your core values, and then you realize that what your passion is and how you can use it for a purposeful way. The best thing about a leader is that they inspire others, right? The people that follow you, they look up to you because they want to believe in something. And it's up to you to make them believe. And a leader, he or she has to be straight in the mind. It's that unreal mentality. It's that Cristiano Ronaldo mentality that you need to have. No matter how many times you get knocked down, you get back up, right? No matter how many times people doubt you, you never flicker because you know what you are fighting for. This is how you can inspire others, and it always happens through actions rather than words. Through, for example, opening up an NGO for me inspired a lot of people rather than me just talking and saying that, oh, I did this and I did that. and then me, telling everyday experiences about how I see people who are out there, they're struggling, right? The country is not in a good place, there's lots of inflation, but I did this random small act of kindness out of my way, and that inspired others. And it's your job to carry people with you all the way, right? So this is how you can inspire others. And then moving forward, the last thing is personal growth and fulfillment. We talked about this in the start. No matter what your aim is, I'm sure some of you will go abroad, some of you will want to join the civil service. Different, motives are there. But all of this should serve some personal growth and fulfillment for you. And the reason is because life is greater than any material thing, right? We're going to leave behind the money. Unfortunately for some of you, we're going to leave behind the money. We're going to leave behind these job designations, our houses. But you're going to leave one thing behind, and that's your legacy. What you want to be remembered for, right? And what you want to be remembered for is doing something that even lasts after you're gone. That's the important part, is that making a change in the society can be done in several ways, but ultimately being a leader, starting something and then seeing it grow even, after you're gone, that's the main thing. When you help others, it drives an impact inside of you to do it every day, to help people overcome their challenges and to help them just get a better life, right? So now that we've discussed that, how we can become a leader with a purpose, we've seen that we need to align our beliefs and our values. We've seen that how we can understand our passion, and then we've also seen how we can align it with a purpose. What is the end game? The last slide is the end, right? Where do you go from here? So the end game is that all of us, not all of us are unfortunately meant to be leaders, and that's fine, right? You don't have to take like any kind of pressure that Osama came up here and said, I have to be a leader. Some of us are okay with not being leaders. Not every field requires a leader, right? Maybe if you're a musician, maybe if you're a sports person, you can use it for a greater meaningful way, but I get it that you're gonna get challenged because it's different than opening up an NGO, it's different than working as a doctor or a civil servant, right? But the end game is that you should always have a plan B in which you are doing something that feeds your soul. And acts like this, I'm sure, will go a long way. As I mentioned, that this front row is full of people who have actually done work in their lives, inspired others, and they're doing it constantly, right? That's the main part, is that they're doing it constantly, and that inspires others. And throughout this time, they've learned a lot of new things as well, things that they did not know from the start. But the end game is that if you want to start, then start today, right? There is no perfect time to start. Let me tell you this, I've always thought that, once I have this, and then I'm going to become a YouTuber, and that never happened. So basically, if you want to start today, start small, but start making an impact in your community, start bringing change in the society. And before you know it, you're going to be looking back maybe a year later and say that, wow, I actually started from nothing, but now I have such a good platform to build on. So thank you guys for tolerating me today and listening to all of this. I hope that you guys have a very nice future, and I hope to see you in big places. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.